Ex-Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Razak's final appeal against his SRC international conviction and to adduce further evidence will proceed as scheduled from August 15 to 26. This is because the federal court has rejected a written application by Najib's new lawyers to adjourn the hearing after they took over the case from Shafi and Co., who had been discharged. The application was submitted on Tuesday when the new team from Zaid Ibrahim Suflanti H. Liu and Partners and led by lead counsel Hisham Tepot Tek notified the Apex Court of their appointment. While the Federal Court's Deputy Registrar stressed during Friday's case management held via Zoom that the hearing dates would remain, they also said that Najib's new lawyers have indicated they would write in further to ask for an adjournment and, if need be, will have the application heard before the Apex Court on August 15th. In seeking the adjournment, Najib's new solicitors highlighted that they only received the hard copies of 162 volumes of the appeal records on Wednesday and that the digital copies of the same were not provided, although Messrs. Shafi and Co. said that they had sent them over earlier. Messrs. Shafi and Co. however claimed that they had delivered all hard copies of the appeal records on July 27th and provided a bookmark version digitally 5 days earlier on July 22nd. Najib's lawyers raised the issue about an amendment to the motion to adduce fresh evidence on Justice Datuk Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali, who had been the judge in the SRC trial. Najib's lawyers said that they had filed 2 affidavits on Thursday and that they intended to file another one before August 5th to re-emphasize the importance of the issues in their application. To recap, on July 28, 2020, Najib was found guilty by Justice Nazlan of all 7 graft charges he faced in relation to SRC, which resulted in a jail sentence and a fine of 210 million ringgit. The Court of Appeal upheld the conviction and sentence on Najib's appeal and in a strongly worded judgment described how SRC, which started off as a national interest venture, had turned into a national embarrassment. MyNews Retail, a wholly owned subsidiary of MyNews Holdings, said revenues for over 500 of its outlets will be affected if the Control of Tobacco Product and Smoking Bill 2022 is approved. The bill will make it illegal for people born in 2007 and onwards to smoke, buy or possess any type of tobacco products like cigarettes and vape. In a statement, the convenience store operator said it has appealed to all members of parliament to re-evaluate their decision to approve the bill, which was tabled in Dewan Rakyat for its first reading on July 26. It warned that the ban on tobacco will drive them towards the illegal market, making consumption of the product among this group harder to control in the long term. It said that the ultimate beneficiary of this ban will be the criminal syndicates. MyNews Retail adds that it will be challenging to implement this ban as retailers and end sellers are entirely responsible for complying with the new rule. It adds that Section 17 disallows those born after 2007 opportunities to work with the retailer, as the bill spelled out penalties for those born in 2007 and beyond for possessing tobacco products even though they are not smoking it. MyNews Retail also said it was disheartened that it was not invited to give its opinions on the bill. It adds that the government should focus on educating the future generations on cigarette and tobacco harm reduction before implementing new laws restricting their freedom of choice. Areca Corp said its subsidiary had applied with the High Court to be placed under judicial management. Judicial management refers to a method of debt restructuring for companies under financial distress and involves the appointment of an independent judicial manager to manage the affairs of the company to avoid it from being wound up. In a boss filing, Areca said there was a series of events that affected the cash flow of the group and its subsidiary, Areca Engineering and Construction, significantly, slowing down the timing of payments by customers as well as the progress of the projects undertaken by the whole group. The event included COVID-19, which had severely affected the development of real estate and construction business as a whole. The group also cited general economic factors such as shortages of manpower and raw materials, which led to an increase in prices affecting all ongoing projects. Areca said it was also hit by the classification of the group under PN17 on March 1st, which was directly connected to IECB. Areca said the applications were filed in a bid to enable IECB to rehabilitate through a combination of several restructuring mechanisms and other approaches to regularize its financial condition. It should also be pointed out that on April 27, Areca had appointed Messrs. Baker Tilly Montero Heng as its new external auditor for FY22 after its previous auditor, Messrs. Crowe Malaysia, had resigned owing to a lack of audit resources. Crowe Malaysia had earlier highlighted a material uncertainty relating to Areca's status as a going concern in the audited financial statements for FY21. TDM has disposed of its entire stake in 2 Indonesian plantation firms for a total of 115 million ringgit, a move aimed at exiting Indonesia and focusing its resources on its Malaysian operations. One of the firms, PT Rafiq Kamajaya Abadi, has been loss-making since its incorporation up until December 31st, 2020, while the other, PT Sawit Rezeki Abadi, has also been loss-making since its incorporation. In a BOS filing, the Terengganu Strait Control Group said that the purchaser, Ikasa Sawit, is principally involved in the business of growing plants for planting, fibre crops and oil palm. TDM said the proposed disposal is expected to improve the group's financial position as it will no longer have to fund the operations, which are generally capital intensive. It says the gross proceeds from the disposal, amounting to 112 million ringgit, will be used largely for repayment of its borrowings. The group expects the 2 stake disposals to be completed by the 3rd quarter of 2023 and the 1st quarter of 2025, and Afen Huang IB has been appointed as the principal advisor for the exercise. CVC Capital Partners has completed the acquisition of a 68.35% stake in Afen Huang Asset Management for 1.54 billion ringgit. In a statement, Afen Huang AM said the company will embark on a rebranding exercise to rejuvenate its image after 20 years, as well as reposition the company for its next growth phase. The rebranding exercise is expected to be fully completed by the 4th quarter of 2022. It said the acquisition by CVC, which it described as a leading global private equity and investment firm, will provide it with a strong springboard in charting its next phase of growth, particularly in elevating its wealth platform and spurring its digitalization push. MD Datuk Teng Chi Wai said that the group would be able to leverage on CVC's expertise in private markets and alternative asset classes. To recap, Afen Bank's divestment of Afen Huang AM resulted in a gain on disposal of 1.063 billion ringgit for the bank, according to previous reports.